starts right now. Welcome to Closing Arguments. We begin this hour with some breaking news out of Nevada, Lyon County, Nevada. We've been following the case of Naomi Irian, who was found murdered. First, she had been abducted. Then there was a search for her remains. She was found. And now, tonight, the man who was first charged with the abduction, Troy Driver, has now been charged with her murder. The Lyon County Sheriff making that announcement tonight. Let me read for you exactly what they said. Here we go. On 4/1/2022, detectives with the Lyon County Sheriff's Office charged and booked Troy Driver on open murder with the use of a deadly weapon. Robbery, burglary, and destruction of evidence. Troy Driver remains in custody at the Lyon County Jail. I wonder if there will be an adjustment to his bond. Right now, he could get out if he could find someone to post $750,000. That may change now with these murder charges, but the big breaking news tonight in the murder of Naomi Irian is that Troy Driver, the man who investigators say was seen on video abducting her, has now been charged with her murder. We'll continue to follow that story and those developments because I'm sure the next thing to happen will be the defendant back inside the courtroom after these charges are made official. In the meantime, we have another story tonight that we need to talk about. This is a mom, Cassie Carli, from down in Florida, Santa Rosa County, Florida. Those of you not familiar with Santa Rosa County, it's not in South Florida. It's actually in the Panhandle part of Florida, close to Pensacola. She has a daughter, and apparently there was supposed to be some sort of exchange with the father of her daughter. That, you know, that's what happens when parents aren't together. You want what's best for the kids. You want them to get to know and love both parents and spend time with both parents. So one of these exchanges apparently was set up, but Cassie was never heard from again. And she is missing tonight. Let's take a listen to the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office, Sheriff Bob Johnson, with some of the details tonight.
A Navarre woman, Cassie Carli, 37 years of age, was last seen Sunday the 27th behind Juana's Pagoda in the parking lot. She was there to meet Marcus Spanabello, who I think also has his photograph as well. They have a child in common, a 3-year-old girl. They were met there to do a child exchange. That was the last time that we know of that Cassie was seen. The next day, Monday the 28th, we received about midday, we received a call from Cassie's father reporting her missing. The next day, Tuesday the 29th, we find Cassie's car behind Juana's Pagoda. And what we found concerning was inside that car was Cassie's purse. And as you know, most women don't leave their purse behind when they go somewhere. So that caused us a little concern. Then Wednesday the 30th, we located Marcus in Birmingham, Alabama. 3 detectives from Santa Rosa County drove up there to interview him. They made contact with him and also with Sailor, the daughter, and they called out Alabama Child Services, who checked over the girl, and that was that for that part. So they interviewed him and came back here. Right now, we're currently in several different, I guess you could say, phases of this investigation, but we would like to thank Okaloosa, Walton, and BSO for their assistance, as well as FDLE and the FBI. Currently, like I said, it's ongoing investigations. I don't know how many questions I can answer, but feel free to ask me what you want to. So, yes, ma'am.
Are there any specific spots that you are searching right now, or any specific efforts that you can share with us?
Not at this time. I can say the search is ongoing, but I can't tell you any certain locations.
Can you confirm whether the search is beyond Santa Rosa County?
Yes. Yes.
Can you give us any information about why some of the people involved in the search went to Freeport yesterday?
I don't know the answer to that one.
Okay.
I mean, we didn't send them there.
No, it was the community-led search.
Okay, yeah, I don't know. Yes, ma'am.
We've talked to friends and family who all point their fingers toward Marcus when it comes to information that could lead to finding Cassie, and they believe he may know something about her disappearance. Do you feel like that's a fair statement?
Well, I can say it's an ongoing investigation, and he was the last one to see her that we're aware of. So obviously, we are intent on speaking with him again. Yes.
Have any restrictions been put on him about leaving where he's at or the country?
Not by us. No. Yes.
Can you give us any sort of insight into what his story of events were when you interviewed him?
No, I can't.
Is there anything beyond just the purse being with the vehicle that leads you to believe that she didn't just walk off on her own? Then you can tell us.
Yeah, not that I can speak to right now. But like I said, obviously, you know, I've been married 32 years, and I'll tell you, my wife goes nowhere without her purse. So to think that she just left it there and just walked off is, you know, that's what concerns us.
Did you interview the child, or was there anything from the story about the drop-off from the child?
No, we did not interview the child. Now, like I said, Alabama Protective Services responded out, and I can't really comment on what they said. Yes?
What was his connection to Birmingham? Was he like in the process of leaving, or does he live there, or what?
No, I think he had a job site up there that he works at.
When you say her purse, is that like all of her, like her ID, all that stuff was still in the car, or just a purse?
There were things in the purse we won't comment on, but there's things in the purse that, like I said before, we don't think she would just up and leave.
She was last seen almost 4 days now. Can you speak to whether that's concerning to keep going yet another day with no sign of her?
Oh yeah, it's very concerning. I mean, you know, and we take everything seriously. Missing persons cases, a lot of them, you know, we find the person, everything's fine. But usually you don't go 4 days without hearing from them or them using a credit card or a cell phone or something. And right as of now, we have none of that. So yeah, we're concerned.
So you can confirm that she's had no cell phone or credit card activity since Sunday?
That we're aware of.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's why we have, you know, we didn't just assign a detective. Our entire major crimes unit is working this. So you've got 10 detectives that's pretty much all they're doing right now is trying to locate Cassie.
A lot of folks are looking for Cassie tonight, and I can't imagine what her daughter is thinking now. Where's my mom? Where's my mommy? This is heartbreaking. Obvious places where you have to look and people who you need to interview and all this, and it seems like they are on top of it. But let's bring in our guest tonight. Joining me tonight in Salt Lake City, Utah, private investigator, former police officer Rob Joseph is with us. In Hollywood, Florida, the host of the YouTube channel. You got to tell me how to say it, Mel. Melvin Cedeño's with us. Go ahead.
Ikid Mel. Hopefully you guys can hear me clearly.
Ikid Mel. Got it. Ikid Mel podcast.
Thanks.
Check it out. It's great. I know he's been covering this story in depth. And in Navarre, Florida, a special guest joining us by phone tonight is Cassie's sister, Rayanne. I'm going to begin with you, Rayanne. Thank you so much. Our thoughts are with your family tonight in this search. We're hoping for the best, obviously. When was the last time you were able to speak to Cassie?
The last time I personally spoke to my sister was Saturday. She had just worked her first shift at her new job. She loved it, was so excited to return on Tuesday to work. And she had gotten her Amazon package in the mail, just sharing that with me, and tell her have a good night and we'll talk tomorrow.
So there's nothing, there's no depression, there's nothing like that going. I don't know how you could be depressed with a beautiful little girl like that.
Right.
But I mean, everything was normal. She was happy.
Yeah.
It was just another day.
Oh, she was so happy. She was thriving, so excited, looking forward to this new job, you know, with the opportunities and finally getting better housing for her daughter and her, looking at houses, sharing those with me. Oh, she was in an amazing place, mentally, physically. I was so proud of her.
So now let's get to the part of the story where everyone is focusing. What was the nature of her relationship with Marcus Spanavello?
He was the father of her child. They did date briefly before they found out about Sailor and welcomed her into the world. But early on, there were many red flags during her pregnancy with Sailor. Noticed how controlling he could be and manipulative and just right away kind of worrisome behavior. So they didn't work out as a couple, but, you know, vowed to try and be the best parents they could. And she would never, ever want her daughter not to be able to see her father. So try to maintain a relationship with him and just be cordial. That's all she wanted.
So was there an official arrangement through the courts as to, okay, this is when dad is with a Sailor, this is when mom is, or did they work it out between themselves?
There was somewhat of a temporary in order of custody. They were in the process still going to court and whatnot, but it was established that it was Sailor lived with my sister full time, but she would visit her father every other weekend and every other holiday until the custody arrangement was fully established. But her goal was, of course, to get primary custody, but never take away his visits or any such thing like that. He also desired the same thing, I think, as well. So.
And did your sister talk about that? I mean, sometimes people keep that stuff private. Sometimes they share it with family about his response to, okay, so you're telling me that he wanted to be the primary custodial parent here?
Yes, that's kind of why it was being so drug out so long. He wanted to be in control. That was the main thing. And so it gave my sister, it made it a little harder for her to arrange something with the courts. And even just the way he would disagree with anything she tried to come to, whether it was picking a school for Sailor upcoming or in the courts. I've never... Someone represents himself, of course, on the custody hearing, but the way his behavior is, even towards judge and officials, is disturbing from the beginning.
Let me ask you this, because I think this is probably the most important question. The mother of his daughter is missing. Is he involved in the search to help find her?
No. No. And when first contacted, to even just be simply asked, hey, where is she? It's been a couple days. My father was met with annoyance, actually. Why are you blowing me up? Why are you calling me? It's insane. No involvement whatsoever, no cooperation in trying to find the mother of his child. Yeah.
All right, Melvin Cedeno. Mel, this is troubling behavior. You see this in a lot of cases. I know you cover a lot of these cases. If you've got one, and okay, they're not together, but she is still the mother of your child. She's missing, and you're doing nothing. You're saying nothing to help in the search. To me, that is very, very, very troubling.
Yeah, no, I agree. I was looking at the GoFundMe that I think Rianne set it up, but the sister, Casey, posted under there, and a couple of things that I thought were interesting that they mentioned. This GoFundMe was from August 2021, and she mentions toxic relationship, allegations of an abusive relationship. Also, it says that in 2019, it says, I filed for sole custody of my daughter. The court allowed him to have bi-monthly visitation and ordered him to pay child support to date. He owes $10K in support. What I thought was interesting too is that when I saw the interview today that the family did with WFLA, Casey's brother, Anthony, he said that she's been telling him for 2 years that Marcus has been threatening her, and that if anything had ever happened to her, that it was him, like that he did it. He had something to do with that. He also mentioned towards the end, they were saying that he was due to pay back money. I don't know if Rianne could maybe talk to that. And some of the
these are big issues. Rob Joseph, these are big smoking guns. These are big ones. He owes money. He wants custody. There's some issues or allegations potentially of abuse here, and you've got someone who is missing, potentially saying, if I go missing or something happens to me, you know where to look.
Yeah, all the red flags are there. Apparently, they've been there for some time. And there's a lot in that police statement to the media that leads me to believe that they really kind of know what's happened, and they're just making their case. To make a statement like, Marcus was the last person to see her that they're aware of, and she was meeting him in the parking lot. And, from what I understand, it was, an exchange of the daughter. And then, 4 days later, they're pursuing him for information, and trying to locate the daughter, and they do in Alabama, where he's obviously involved in some employment endeavor out there. But I think all the red flags are there. I think the law enforcement probably have as much information as they need to move forward with their case, identifying him as at least the primary person of interest. But obviously, making these cases, you need to have a little bit more than circumstantial evidence, which is, usually why these cases take a little bit more time to put together.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Rayanne Carli, Cassie's sister, let me ask you this. Sailor, is she allowed to talk to her aunt? Is she allowed to talk to her uncle? Is she allowed to talk to Grandpa?
No, unfortunately, we have not personally been in touch with Sailor yet, but we are hoping that changes. We are working hard with DCF and getting all the paperwork and everything. We are really hoping that Sailor will be reunited with us physically, hopefully within the next 24 hours. That is our goal for that. Working really hard. And even during the relationship, that was one thing. He never, ever wanted his daughter to have contact with this side. It was, the isolation tactic, if possible, was one of his goals. And that he's continuing that still, obviously. So that's troubling. I did want to say, too, about the custody payments. Yes, that custody, the money arrangement, child support, he owed that money, and the courts had imposed that deadline, which was coming up this upcoming week. It was soon for him to have that money to my sister or have consequences. So it's definitely worrisome, too, one of that being a factor.
Well, our best to your family. Please, we'll stay in contact with you as the search continues for your sister. And thank you so much. I know you're super busy, but I think you're doing the right thing, getting the word out. So her face is everywhere. So anyone that has information can come forward and help find Cassie. Thanks so much, Rayanne.
Thank you, Vinny, so much.
All right, when we come back, Mel's going to stay with us. Rob's going to stay with us. We're going to take a look at the scene of this child exchange, the custody exchange, where it was taking place outside this popular restaurant. There's a parking lot. We'll get a lot more information when we come back. But take a look. Did you see her? Did you see her, folks? Are you down in the Panhandle? Are you down there on spring break? If so, pick up the phone, make a call.
Is there anything beyond just the purse being with the vehicle that leads you to believe that she didn't just walk off on her own? That you can tell us.
Yeah, not that I can speak to right now. But like I said, obviously, I've been married 32 years, and I'll tell you, my wife goes nowhere without her purse. So to think that she just left it there and just walked off is, that's what concerns us.
Sheriff Bob Johnson down in Santa Rosa County, Florida, in the Florida Panhandle, talking about Cassie Carli. She is missing, has been missing since the beginning of the week. She was at a child exchange in the parking lot of a restaurant down in Navarre, Florida. Let me show you. It's called Juana's Pagodas. Okay, let's take a look at it so you can see the area that we're talking about. Right there in the Panhandle. Zoom in. You can see it's a nice restaurant. It's on the water there. This beautiful, beautiful part of the country. But this is where she was supposed to drop off her daughter, Sailor, to her ex and the father of her child, Marcus Spanavello, but she was never seen again. So let's bring back in our guest, still with me, private investigator Rob Joseph, and host of the YouTube channel, Melvin Cedeno's with us. And joining us now in Pensacola, Florida, investigative reporter with WEAR-TV, Olivia Iverson is with us. Olivia, I saw you there in that parking lot. We haven't been there. Describe the scene. What is it like? How many people are there? What time of day did this happen? Are there videos of this? Give us the lowdown on where this all took place and what happened.
Well, I'll actually answer your last comment first. So according to Sheriff Bob Johnson that you had just showed that clip of him there, he did confirm in yesterday's press conference that there is surveillance footage that they have, but they told us that they can't get into what it does and doesn't show. But if you are in Navarre Beach, like a lot of the Florida Panhandle, it's the beach town, right? You drive over a bridge, over the Sound, and then there's a few restaurants, there's a parking lot there, and then there's a boat ramp. That map on your screen, you can see it. That's the restaurant Juana's that she mentioned. When I say she, I mean Cassie's family. Rayanne said that this whole custody exchange happened. The restaurant parking lot is right next to it, and where detectives say that they found Cassie's car was actually on the other side of the parking lot, all the way to the right. That is all the parking available for the boat ramp. It's separate than what's on your screen. It's all the way past that. It's all that parking available for all the tourists, especially this time of year that visit the area. This time of year, it is busy. I wouldn't say for sure if it's busy on a Sunday night, but at least, especially as we saw today, a lot of search crews continuing their efforts and a lot of people out there, regardless if they're there for looking for Cassie.
Mel Cedeno, there's a video. Obviously, they haven't released it. But it seems to me there is some information on that video that is the key to this whole thing. Just like Rob said, it seems like they know a lot more than they are revealing tonight, and it may very well be on video.
Yeah, what's kind of interesting too, if we look at like the text messages that were released, because she left her home, which she lives with her father, around 7, and it's really close to this parking lot where she met with Marcus. And the text messages that were released, it was around 9:40 p.m. The father messages Cassie, and it says, "Cassie, I'm trying to call you. What's going on? I'm freaking out because call me as soon as you get this message." The reply back, which the family doesn't believe this was Cassie, the reply back says, "I'm sorry, car was acting up and I broke my phone. Marcus is working on it. I will stay at his place tonight, and he is paying me money to do some stuff around his house. Are you in PCB, which is Panama City Beach?" And then she says, "No, the screen is jumping all over the place. Let me see if he can get this fixed. I'll call you." The reply back is, "I'm going to sleep. I just needed to know my girls were all right." And there was nothing from there. The family does not believe that that was her, and that she doesn't even talk like that. And they've even said that the verbiage is almost like Marcus. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And then also, allegedly one of his stories or responses is because there's a Facebook Messenger message that was put out, and it says, I believe this is from the sister, "Is Sailor with you? Please, Marcus, this is not like my sister. She has been doing great and was supposed to start a new job. I hope you will at least cooperate with the police. Let them know you have Sailor. She is now a missing person." This was on Tuesday before she was located. She was located Wednesday in Alabama, Birmingham, Alabama. But his reply is really interesting. He says here, "Sailor is with me. She wanted to be dropped off in the middle of nowhere in Destin with Sailor," which is Destin is between Navarre and Panama City. That used to be the drop-off spot that they would do. That's the normal drop-off spot. "I told her I wouldn't let Sailor go like that, to give me an address and I take them to it. Yeah, cops already called me, and I might call again for more questions. If they do, I will. Apparently, everybody will be asking me that, so I'll just copy and paste what I told your father." This is one of those stories that I heard floating around, and I think that's kind of bizarre too. That's why some people were talking about Destin. It doesn't make sense. Why leave Cassie there? A lot of things not adding up.
No, and her car is found where her car is found. Rob, Joseph,
Right.
The evidence is just mounting up. If you've got this digital footprint that everyone has, there's text messages back and forth. But what Mel is pointing out with and we've seen this in other cases, where someone is pretending to be someone else when responding to a text message, and it becomes important evidence in putting together a timeline here.
Yeah, I think what the sheriff's office was doing there, where they made it pretty clear that it's very unlikely that she just wandered away, left her purse, and obviously there's been no credit card transactions. There's most likely all of her personal information, cards and everything were left in the purse. And then Marcus comes up with some bizarre story where he's trying to lead the police in another direction. But I think what became obvious to me was the sheriff was basically stating to Marcus, I don't buy your explanation. She didn't just walk away. She didn't wander away. She's not going to leave her purse there. And yeah, I have dealt with cases where somebody else has picked up the phone and posed as the individual. And I can recall Mackenzie Lewick, who was murdered a year or so ago, and the guy that had met her in a park and had killed her that night, kept her phone for a period of time and would occasionally get on and use it for social media and different things, trying to make police believe that, you know, something else was happening, as opposed to the fact that he had already, you know, kidnapped and killed her.
Absolutely.
So,
And don't forget down in Florida also, Brian Laundrie using Gabby Petito's phone as well. We're out of time. We're out of time tonight, but we're going to stay on this story. Melvin Cedeno, appreciate your time tonight. Check out Ikid Mel on YouTube. Great podcast. Olivia Iverson, Friday night. Thank you so much. I hope you'll join us again. Rob Joseph, stand by, because when we come back, we're going to open up tonight's Unsolved Case File. We'll be right back.